All right, so a pleasant way once more to welcome you to Focus on Liberia Television Live. We are streaming live and direct from the offices of Miss Reverend Christopher Toh. He's the Secretary General of the Liberia Council of Churches. And of course, Focus on Liberia is based in the U.S. state of Atlanta, Georgia. It's great to be here with you, Reverend. Welcome to this interview. Another time, one time we were here again almost 6 months ago. How are you doing, Reverend?
Thank God.
Great. Okay, since you are very busy, we're just going to go straight into the reasons for which we come here. The Liberia Council of Churches on this Thursday we became the observance or the celebration of its 34th General Assembly, I'm told. Give us a rule of what the 34th General Assembly is about and what are the activities you're going to be doing, where the program is going to be held, and what is it all about?
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for coming and to be live on Focus on Liberia. The Liberia Council of Churches, as you already stated, will be convening. We'll be convening from tomorrow, Thursday to Friday, 2023, at the Georgia Patton Memorial United Methodist Church, down Waterside UN Drive. And this will be, as I stated, the 34th General Assembly, and we'll be deliberating on the theme promoting national unity and promoting peace and national unity, an imperative for sustainable growth and development. And this comes from the text, Psalm 133 verse 1 and John 17:21. So this assembly will bring together clerical leaders, lay persons of administrative leadership. We'll bring together also membership from the counties, and bringing together 30 denominational churches and Christian-related organizations.
Great. I love the theme I'm seeing here, promoting national peace and unity, an imperative for sustainable growth and development, rather. Why is it important, especially so when we had 3 months to elections? Why did you come up with this theme? What's the background of the theme?
The background of the theme has to do with sustaining the peace, and knowing very well that Liberia is the common denominator what we have, and despite of our political alliances and the differences that we have, whether it's cultural or whether it's religious, Liberia is the only country that we have.
Okay.
And to uphold that country and make that country to be a developing country that will benefit its people, unity is important.
Yeah, the viewers will be complaining. Yeah.
And so unity is important. So as I stated, to be able to deal with to deal with growth and development,
mm-hmm.
and to sustain that particular growth and development, unity is key. So yes, we may come from different political backgrounds, mm-hmm. as I said, different cultural and religious background, but Liberia is the common denominator that we have. And so as a people, we should always make reference to ourselves as Liberian and promote Liberian nationalism, so that we should be patriotic, so that we can be able to look at the forward movement of our country and not to destroy our country. Peace is imminent. Mm-hmm. Even Jesus talked about Jesus brought peace, the message of peace to the world. He said, the peace I gave you, not as the world gave. Mm-hmm. So when he talked about the peace that he gave us, not as the world gave, that means is a peace that is well sustained. And that is a peace that has no boundary. It's not a peace of commotion, it's a peace of violence. So at this time, coming to election, we need peace. We are saying to all actors,
Yeah.
tune down your rhetoric. Tune down your emotions. Tune down the tension. Your approaches to each other. Speak, in a very constructive way. Even if you want to criticize, even if you want to mix a message, give messages of demonizing people, let it be in a constructive way. Let it be something that would be reflected as, yes, this is a weakness of a person, but don't go to the level where we insult, personalities. We insult womanhood, just because we want to ascend to political powers. We're trying to say that this is unacceptable. We're supposed to be looking at peace. And when we make those kind of statements, when we do those things of violence, when we also as a people look at the killings that are going on, the drugs that are moving, our children are dying from drugs. Look at the kind of corruption that is going on, and we remain silent. Even if people are involved in corruption, we are investigating, but majority of our investigations are inconclusive. So our justice have eyes to see, and our justice should not have eyes to see. And so we're trying to say that let us promote nationalism. Let us promote this peace that would not bring about, this peace that would bring us together as a people and keep us moving forward as a country. We are 176 years to come, 76 years. So what can we show as a people and a nation? And I think what we need now is to promote that national peace and unity.
Great. So, the Council of Churches, the Liberia Council of Churches has always been on the side of promoting messages of peace, calling on political actors to be peaceful, to conduct themselves in the way, a manner, and form in which the peace will not be tampered with. So, the assembly that starts on tomorrow and ends on Friday, did you invite political actors, maybe political parties, representatives, chairperson and chairman of political parties, aspirant candidates? Did you call? Did the council invite them and to say those messages to them in their faces?
This message, our assembly has it has targeted delegates.
Okay.
But this message from the assembly will be going out.
Yes.
It will be live. We have also our live feed that will be having this will be on YouTube. It will be on Facebook, and there will be other live TV that will be there.
Okay.
So the message will go out to everybody. The speaker, we will be launching also the Bishop Arthur F. Kula lecture, peace, we call it the Justice, Peace, and Reconciliation lecture series. He was one of the presidents of the Liberia Council of Churches, one of the founding members, and he has contributed immensely to strong advocacy for justice in this country and reconciliation. And we felt that it's important to launch a lecture series in his honor while he's alive.
Okay.
So he will be there. He has accepted it. And interestingly, we are also calling on the Associate Justice, Councillor James Etta Wolokoli.
Okay.
She will be the speaker at the lecture series. She will be the first speaker of the lecture series. And then the lecture series will be launched by our president. And then, interestingly, we also will be honoring some people. For the first time, we will be launching the first president of the council. We have decided to launch a Hall of Fame in his honor called the Bishop George D. Brown Hall of Fame. And at that particular program, we'll be honoring Bishop Kula. We'll be honoring also Honorable Olubanke King Ekerili. on our former Minister of Foreign Affairs, who has contributed not only to our country, but internationally promoting women's leadership. And she also wrote a good book on conflict, women dealing in conflict and leadership. And we feel that as a church, it's important that we honor her also. We will be also honoring the U.S. Ambassador, His Excellency Michael McCarthy, and then also Eddie Wild, deputy, one of our elders of our church, a clerical elder of our church, who is 94 years, and he'll be also honored for his long service to the Christian community. So we'll have a very great day on tomorrow, and the Minister of Justice will be the award celebrant at that program.
Why all those awards? I mean, great names. I mean, Lobaki King, Akehole, and all the other names. Why you decided to give this, some of those awards? Why? What's the significance?
They have contributed immensely to this country, and they need to receive the flower while they are alive.
Okay.
And the church, notice that. She's also very, she's the chair of the board of the Angie Brooks Center for Peace. She has contributed. Bishop Kola has contributed immensely, and the U.S. ambassador also coming to our country has contributed immensely to not only in Liberia, but has contributed fighting against corruption. I think we hear that. The council, one of his core values is accountability. And so people that do things in the society must be able to recognize them. And then over the year, the Hall of Fame, we will be inducting people in the Hall of Fame gradually, but it will be a year event. And so gradually, so when you do some great things, we'll set up a whole board on the on the whole award ceremony, and we'll be asking the public to be able to vet people that will be honoring. But this time, we have selected the first person to be in the first.
This is the first time you do that.
The first time in the history of the Council of Churches.
Great. Okay, so Council, Reverend, as we try to conclude, because you are very busy compiling a report for the event on tomorrow. I like to ask you this question. You earlier on spoke about the issue, the death rate in the country, the addiction of drugs about the young people. Let me start with the issue of the drugs. The legislature yesterday passed the drugs law. That is, both houses, after a conference committee was set up, and then they have a report. It was passed. It will not be sent to the president for his signature and be published in the handbills. What do you make of that? Is that a way to go?
Yes, I think there's one good thing for us to be able to always enact laws. Laws are there to be able to put into place some form of regulations, making us to move further. But the most important thing is to implement the laws that will put into practice, and will put into place a mechanism to address the issue of drugs abuse, drugs and substance abuse in our country. As we pass it around, in every county now, you have hamlets, villages growing of Zogos. Sooner or later, they will move into towns and cities. And if we're not careful, most of our children are already being affected. Some of our children are now being affected by those peer interactions. And it's affecting even our homes.
The schools.
The schools.
The churches.
All over. They are there. Even while you are in church, they are in the church, stealing phones. Some people go to church this time. Some people even they are afraid to even go to church, that they will park the cars. Even the cars will be stolen. We don't have the security in our country. We have low security. The Army drawdown plan, the recommendations propose that we should have 8,000, security force at least to be able to help the security in this country. What do we have? About 3,000. So eventually, we don't have security. So It is, I can always I usually say it is God and Liberians that, taking care of themselves. Only God and Liberians themselves. Because if Liberians want to be violent, this country is finished. Because we don't have the security. But we know that Liberians are people who want peace in this country. And we should always promote this peace. If you try to calculate the amount of security we have now and those that are attached to government officials, the citizens are vulnerable.
I love that part.
They are vulnerable. The citizens are vulnerable. So we live in a community that you see the whole depot, maybe only 5 police. Maybe two in the depot. But you see majority of the police on the intersection trying to direct some kind of traffic.
And for some kind of reason.
For some kind of reason, and you know what I'm talking about. So this is the kind of situation that we have in our country. And we need to see how we fix it. We fix the problem. We have problems, we need to fix the problems.
I'd like to interview you, Reverend Toe, to be honest with you. I like the way you can be vocal on national issue. I'm not bragging about it, but that's the reason why I always find to interview. But there was a situation at Senator Prince Johnson's church. He might not be a member of the council, but the council supposes, and the council talks we take the council to be that branch of the religious organization we can run to when there are issues. What's your thought on that? People want to Senator Johnson's church on a Sunday. He might be the devil, if you think, but he's serving God. God knows whether he's devil or not. But they were chanting slogan, and the service was disrupted. People ran head and scatter.
I think we frown on that. We frown on it, not even think. We got a statement on that. We frown on it as a church, and we said to those who were involved that it was unchristian, it was unreligious. They come from either a Christian or a Muslim background, and the doctrine of religion does not. And safety in the 1990s, and they went to the Lutheran church. Yet the security went to the Lutheran church and massacred 750 persons. So this is a message to say, oh, do you want to repeat going to the church to start attacking the church people? No. So we said no to that. And the issue is that we met Senator Johnson also, and we want to talk to him in terms of the words, preaching the word, using the pulpit. You can preach the word of salvation. You can preach the word against sin. You can preach the word against the odds of society without mentioning anybody's name. And you can put it into context based on scripture. So you can go to the Bible, this thing happened in biblical days, and this, and you speak against stealing. Stealing happened in biblical days. This is what happened when stealing took place, and you connect it to the society and the law in your country. What does it say? So the Bible is making reference, to the odds of society. But I don't have to call John Brown's name in my sermon. There is an attack. Okay. So when you call John Brown's name, then you are not speaking what the law said. It just said the law. Let everyone see themselves in the sermon. But whenever you call the name of a person in a sermon, it's an attack on that person's personality. Okay. And so you know very well, even if you attack the devil will come back to fight if you call the devil name. So remind you, in the book of Job, he said, when the children of God gathered together, Satan came in the midst of them. So even in the church, so now Satan can be there. So if you went as a pastor and you stood on the pulpit and you started saying, you John Peter, you are a murderer. John Peter can get arrested in that church and say, I will show you what I'm a murderer. And he will fight you back. But if you say, thou shalt not kill, if you kill, you have taken a soul that God, has put together. It's unacceptable. You should not be involved into alcoholism. You should not be involved into drug addicts, behavior. You should live a decent life. All those things, when you talk about what the scripture says and make reference to the scripture, then people see your message as a message, of transformation. They don't see your message as a message of attack. And when you go that route of calling people names, then it becomes a different thing. Then that's where we come in as a council of churches to frown against. But we will not frown against anybody speaking the truth, talking about the age of society on the radio. No. But when you start calling people names, then we think it's unacceptable. Don't use the pulpit for that. If you want to call names, go on your private show. Go on the public, in a public space. Have your public program. And you want to call name, you can call name. Don't hide behind God to call anybody name. Because when you use the pulpit, then you become about the place, where you stand to represent God. And when you say, thus said the Lord, behind the pulpit, then no one says, no one comes to you to grab you.
Okay, 2 more questions quickly as we close up. I'm sure you've been following the case involving former Chief Justice Gloria Scott. I'm asking this question because it's important you are a statesman from the religious cycle. It's important you answer this question. I've read something on the internet last night. She's been indicted now by the grand jury of Liberia with the charges placed against she and 3 other members from her family, detailing what those charges mean. Specifically with murder. Murder having to do with someone willingly, and willfully taking away another person's life and all those kinds of things. Counsel, Sarah or Reverend, what do you make of the whole scenario? The public has had its own way of reacting to it. Politicians have had their ways of reacting to it. What do you make of that from the church side?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
And remember, in my earlier statement, I talk about justice should not see.
She shouldn't see, she should be blind.
Justice should be blind. But it's unfortunate in Liberia that justice can see. Because justice sees positions. So even if you are a president and you're involved in corruption, justice can see you. And then justice is not blind. And so justice is supposed to be blind and don't see anybody. So whoever you are, I don't care what kind of power you attained before or now, if you go against the law, you must be persecuted by the law. And that is justice. A lot of our people, auditors have died. People have died. People have died mysteriously. People have been killed in this country. People get missing. Police stay investigating.
Stay investigating.
Stay investigating. Inconclusive investigation. I'm happy. I'm not so happy, but let me just use the word. I think if what has been done in the case of Councilor Gloria Scott, it has been done with all the cases that we had, where people are fast-tracking it and trying to make sure that they got, the proof for indictment. Oh, man, we have gone far off. So are they trying to say the other cases, they don't have proof?
Maybe.
For prosecution? Those things that are claiming? So what kind of security do we have? The same thing that happened, that allegedly happened, Councilor Scott was the complainant. She complained. The Liberian people, the society, everyone has their own side of the story. They already judge the story. People have their own judgment. They render their own judgment because we know investigation is a process. But when investigation, when people are not informed of a process of investigation and say, look, we are going through this process and they did this and we're going to make sure X, Y, Z take place. And then people think and assume and presume as a matter or as usual, a matter of as usual, then eventually, what happens? People will always say, oh man, why will come from all of that thing? That Liberia this. This is the kind of statement that will start coming up from people. So Even if today you come up with a verdict of guilty against Councillor Scott, the people will say you are witch hunting.
Because you have not done it for other people.
You have not done it before. Even if
she did it,
even if she did it, if she's wrong. We are not saying, yes, and that the statement came from the Council of Churches. We said it should be investigated. And even if anybody is found culprit, it should be brought to the law for investigation. And if you're found guilty, then the law takes its course. So we stand on the side of criminal accountability also. So if Gloria did it, and you have the proof, fine. But what happens to the others? What happened to the others? When people are audited, when people who are auditors, auditing people, die mysteriously, eventually you know there's an assumption that they were killed by somebody because somebody never wanted to be known. Do we know? No. Who could be able to help us to find out? Is the police. But thankful to God that at least the police, they are trying now.
In this other case, maybe.
The other case, they are trying. They are fast-tracking everything.
Even
and we hope that they fast-track will continue of fast-tracking every case. And there are other cases. What we are saying, there are other cases that stay inconclusive.
Such as?
The issues with Sister Lama.
Okay, Gifty Lama.
Gifty Lama.
Our Peter.
Maybe all the other guys.
Princess Kopo, who died at the Faras building on the
Princess Kopo issue. And then
the guys that went with the St. Moses.
No, that is a lot of assumptions. People got missing, but there are some things that take place that look mysterious, and and reflect. And it's not only President Weah's time. It's a thing that have happened even from President Salif, where some people die mysteriously also. So shall we continue in this kind of state? When people are arrested for corruption, and in the end, we don't go anywhere, and then the people are free, and we can't hear anything again. Where are we going? Where are we going as a country?
Even though you are now a lawyer, but she was jailed, she was in prison for almost 2-3 days before she was indicted. How do you look at that? Indictment should be when the writ is issued.
You can be arrested. I was arrested also by the charge of the government. You can be arrested, and I think it's 48 hours. Okay. Yeah. 48 hours to be charged. And you can be under custody until they can be able to have the charge for indictment, and then they can be able to take you to the court, and then they can be able to serve you the rate of the indictment or whatever. And so even it happened in our state at the time of the Interreligious Council where we were arrested, but the government also did not have any proof. And so they even placed charges on us. They indicted us with charges and they never even had proof again. And we were placed, we're in NSA for 14 days, just imagine. We're in NSA for 14 days, and we were in Moore Central Prison for 4 days.
Great. Okay, so let's...
so it's an interesting thing. So this is something that we know sometimes people play political games. People play a lot of games, but we are just hopeful and prayerful that whatever that is happening should be the truth. It should be the truth. And if the truth come up, we feel, and I know that she's a Christian. If she did it, she will confess. She did it. And she will ask God for forgiveness. Even if she has to pay the penalty, she will ask God for forgiveness. She's a Christian. But if she did not do it and someone want to lie on her name, then it's on the, people should stop it. And I think if justice, if the evidences are there, and the proof that it was a cause that she and the other did the act, the girl needs justice. The girl that died. She needs justice. And justice must be served for not only her, but all those that were involved.
Thank you. Finally, the LCC.
Odell Sherman and all this
Odell
person.
Case,
We were there too. I was there. I was at the autopsy. We went to the autopsy, and she got a crack on her head. I was there at the autopsy. There was a crack on her head, and the blood entered her brain. That's how she died. The guy who did the autopsy was a Baptist minister of the gospel. He and I talked at St. Moses. We were right there. And he said, you're going to send his report. But he told us this is what killed her. But you're going to send his report. And so, then how can a person drop from the balcony down on the floor with no fracture in the bone? None. Only the head, right near the ear. So that means somebody may have hit her on the head, or her head or hit somebody somewhere. But nothing happened. Odell Sherman case just became silent. She needs justice also. A lot of people, they need justice. And we think the police must be able to do something. If they are still investigating, let them try to conclude some of the investigations.
All right, finally, the LCC been so vocal since, I've been following you. What are those things rather the LCC decides or choose to talk on or speak about? And what are those things they choose not to speak on? And how do you reach the decision to speak on those issues and not to speak on some issues?
No, not to say we decide not to speak on some issues. There are some issues that if you look at it, is more of the time alleged.
Okay.
And so sometimes when things are alleged, you have to be careful. And there are things also of security matters. You got to give the security apparatus the benefit of the doubt. Let them do their job and let them perform so that it brings confidence. So if you watch, most of the time will raise concern. At times when you see her condemning, then you should know it has gone to a gravity that has to do with issues that affects morality, and then we can condemn on that. But if it is between John Brown and Peter Amos, we will not just come and condemn, because as long as it's an issue of investigation, and if you condemn John Brown and tomorrow John Brown is acquitted, John Brown see you as what? As a party. So that's the reason why we will not praise government, we will not condemn government, but we will condemn acts that are carried out, and we will call on government to investigate, because government has the what? The sole responsibility. They govern the state. The security of the state is placed in the hands of the government, and the president of the country took oath to protect lives and property. And so that's the reason why those voices will be rendered.
One of the viewers is concerned why you are, honoring the Justice Minister.
No, we are not honoring him. We say he's an award celebrant.
Oh, you are giving an award.
No, he will be giving an award.
Okay.
He will be the award celebrant. Will be giving him. He will be giving the award to the people.
It was important to declare it, because one of the viewers is very concerned.
Okay.
Say, why hasn't done it? You want to give him an honor? Okay. Anything final you want to say? We are so close up.
Okay. That is a call to the public. You are all invited. Today's assembly is at the Georgia Parton United Methodist Church down Waterside, going towards the UN Drive on the UN Driveway. And so you are invited there. We will start on 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Will be at 8. By 9 o'clock, we're going to start the official service. And so by 10 to 10:30, the launch of the lecture series and that of the Hall of Fame will be carried out. And then that will follow our other administrative business sessions.
Okay, thanks so much for giving all this time. His name is Reverend Christopher Toh. He's the Secretary General of the Liberia Council of Churches. My name is Prince Moba. This is a US-based focus on Liberia television. We are streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. You can go on YouTube, you can see all our videos there. Thanks for following me. Let me say thanks to my Chief Executive Officer, Dennis Jai, in the US, and I'm Mr. Anthony C., who is the Operation Manager. My name is Prince Moba. Thanks for following. Bye-bye.